Hello, I'm Erica, here today with Laura and Bob, here to discuss ViaHealth Implementation. So Laura, why don't you go ahead and explain the process? How do you implement your system or your application into a rather complex hospital system? How does that integrate?
Well, it's actually a very easy process. You know, everybody doesn't like change, and it's so simple, and it starts with just basically a meeting with the key people that are involved. The IT, the posting manager.
It's really important that we involve all of the participants that we're going to be interacting with every day. One of the things Laura does really well is she talks to their customer service department and kind of introduces them to our customer service department, so that what we're trying to do is be a team. Mm-hmm. We really want to be an extension, a seamless extension of that hospital system. And so part of that is meeting all the team players and getting comfortable with them, you know, just getting to know them personally and learning a few little stories about them, and so that every time you talk to them, because most of our stuff is done remotely, every time you talk to them on the phone, you know who you're thinking of.
So we learn their procedures, their values, you know, their culture, and we put that together and bring it into our office.
So you cater to your client specifically based on their needs, because every hospital isn't the same.
Correct. They have different needs, and the system that we have is designed to set up just for their needs. If they want a certain payment plan, the system will only do that certain payment plan for that hospital.
You know, we had talked about the system a little earlier, and one of the things that we didn't really talk about then was that the system's kind of built around taking customer service agents and not allowing them to do the wrong thing, because they interact with a lot of different patients from a lot of different hospital systems. So the system is built around constraining the payment plan type that they'll offer to that patient. It's constrained by what the hospital dictates to us.
And any policies, like if they offer charity or their Medicaid terms and stuff like that, it's all listed there for the representative to have and to use for that hospital.
So they basically can answer any question. That the patient might have.
Just like as if the patient was calling into the hospital. We have all that information right in front of them.
Well, Laura touched a little bit on culture, and culture is a really important thing. Each community, and we deal with hospitals nationwide, and each community is so unique unto itself, and that hospital's relationship with those patients in that community is so unique. And so what we try to do when we're out there in this implementation meeting is, how do you interact with your patients? How do they feel about your hospital? How do you feel about the patients? Because sometimes they're fairly adversarial, and we try to avoid the adversarial aspects of essentially collecting a bill for a hospital. It's tough.
So you're trying to cushion that a little bit and present a very affordable or very diverse option for the patient, and implementing that within the culture of the hospital.
That seamless thing extends all the way down to the name. One of the things that on our phones, we answer with the name Hospital Patient Affairs, which is a very generic name, doesn't really represent any individual client.
So that's where the seamless component really fits in. You're trying to streamline this so that it's seamless for every hospital.
And seamless is really important, because if you think about what's happening with these patients, they're in a stressful condition when they've gone to the hospital. And one of the things that in order to outsource their accounts to us, hospitals, if it appears that the account has been outsourced, they a lot of times become very stressed about that, because they feel like, oh, I've been sent to a collection agency. So seamlessness allows us to act as a part of the hospital and keep those tensions low, keep the stress on the patient low. And that's what we're trying to do, is we want this to be a very comfortable experience for the patient.
Okay, no, that makes perfect sense. I'm curious though, obviously there's a lot of files, there's a lot of information. How do you deal with that? File transfers and dealing with the hospital information and the patient information, how do you deal with that?
Well, one of the things that we do out in the implementation meeting is we bring all those various individuals, the person who's in charge of the hospital's telephones. We have that. We like to have a phone number right there in the community, so that they don't have to call outside of the community. But we have 800 numbers, obviously, toll-free numbers available for our hospital clients as well. But we interact with the IT department, the information systems department, and we figure out what's the best method of transferring all that information. and how do we get that, how are we going to package that information into our system, because we want all that information to be immediately available for our customer service agents. And one of the things that we're able to do is we can tailor the information that we receive, the payments, the notes in our system, all of that type of information, we can format that in a way, whatever the hospital needs, we can build the format around that need and provide all that information electronically. Earlier we had talked about one touch with the accounts. Well, we also try to do one touch, very integrated exchange of information. That means we get the information from the hospital in an integrated way, and they get our information in a very integrated way so that they can put that back into their system. We try not to have a lot of manpower involved in that. Again, it comes back to efficiencies, not only for us in working with patients, but in the hospital in working with us.
And the more information we have from the hospital, the easier it is to just act like we're part of the hospital.
Yes, they're again implementing that seamless.
Right, and the other things that we do that are seamless is we can provide a local phone number. We put the hospital's logo on the statements that we send out.
We can use a local P.O. box.
And a local P.O. box, yeah.
Right. Although customers, clients or patients for the most part are now becoming very comfortable with sending their bills to wherever the location of the payment processing is.
Right.
But we offer that, and in some cases, a local P.O. box, a local phone number is very important to our clients. What we try to do when we're at this implementation meeting is we try to figure out how are we going to best serve not only the patient, but as well our hospital clients.
And it sounds like you do that by posting payments for the hospital and
exactly
really facilitating that process.
We set up accounts under the hospital's name so that when the check gets posted to the hospital, the patient receives that check back, they can see that it was posted to the hospital. It's not posted to ViaHealth or something like that.
Right, some third party, it goes right to the hospital.
On the seamless part, everything that we do is really to try and make the patient not know that we are a third party.
Well, I wanted to thank Laura and Bob for being here today to discuss ViaHealth implementation. You really covered a lot of very important topics, and I hope this helped. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks.
Thank you.